Nice to meet you, Ms. Josephine. Maybe tell us how the alternative investments are evolving from your space as a regulator, and what regulatory reforms or frameworks are you putting up in support of that revolution?
Thank you very much. So as a regulator, one of the areas that we are trying to encourage is investment into the alternative investments. And how are we doing that? I think you heard on the panel, we have a regulatory sandbox where we are inviting different intermediaries, market intermediaries, to come and test whatever alternative investment products that they have. But besides that as well, one of the things we are doing is around the law. If you are aware that there are limits in the UBRA Act where pension funds can actually invest, and most of the money gets allocated to government and treasury bills, really about 80%, and the percentage for the alternatives, which will probably sit around either in either other assets, is quite small. And maybe there's a little bit of real estate as well, which we would consider as alternatives, as about a 15% as well. So one of the things we've been discussing with UBRA is how can we increase that band to encourage that to do that. But also the other one is really about investor education, particularly if you look at pension funds, they're very risk averse. So they are going to be in that space where they feel comfortable. Anything they don't understand, they're not going to invest in that. And so conferences like this start to get the pension funds and the institutional investors to open their minds around alternative investments. And for alternative investments to really take off, it's going to be the institutional investors to drive that.
Right, thank you so much for that. What opportunities do you see stakeholders or even the asset managers have or can start with in this revolution of alternative investments?
I think the opportunities around the digital asset space. I mean, technology is transforming and markets are no exception. We are seeing, I think that's one space that the fund managers can look into in terms of what are the alternative assets that can come out of the digital space. I think they'll be talking about tokenization later on. What are some of the products they can design around tokenization, tokenize assets, and therefore try and invest in that space as well. And I also think that in terms of the tenfold growth provides a lot of opportunities. If we're looking at affordable housing, they should be able to design products around affordable housing, as well as things like infrastructure bonds. We're trying to push government to see if they can issue the initial infrastructure bond. So those are the areas I see opportunities, particularly in supporting the tenfold growth.
All right, thank you.
Even diaspora, how are we tapping money from the diaspora? So diaspora bonds would be one of those the options. So if they can design products that is drawing funds from Ugandans who are working out there but want to support development in Uganda and also want to save, I think that those are the opportunities that I see.
All right, thank you. As we try to convince fund managers and asset managers the reposition of their assets in alternative investments, what are some of those challenges that you see that are still impeding some of these to go aggressively into these investments?
I think the main challenge we have is we don't have adequate incentives within the capital market space to encourage people to first of all to come to market, but even to develop those alternatives. And I think one of the panelists talked about that, taxation. And you will see that the growth that we have realized in the collective investment scheme is because of the taxation incentive that is there. So I think it's time to talk about what are the incentives. Like some of them, we've made some proposals to government, but those have not yet come through. So we are going to continue engaging. I think one of the ones that will have a significant impact will be the taxation. I know government requires revenue, but I think it may be worthwhile to forego a little revenue now for more revenue later on, because once these funds can then be used to kickstart production and support development within the economy, the other taxes will come. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Josephine. How do you think regulation can strike a balance between investor protection and innovation?
I think, as I said, as CMA, our role is dual. Yes, we need to protect the investor, which is paramount, but we also need to develop the market. And as we develop the market, the investors will be even able to they will have diversified products and also be able to get good returns. So I think as a regulator, that's one of the things we have done is to get open to innovation. We are the ones who are driving, we are among those who are driving the Virtual Assets Act to ensure that virtual digital assets and virtual assets providers are recognized and also regulated to create a level of trust in that area. But at the same time, it's going to open up opportunities for in the digital asset space. But also, as we already talked about the regulatory sandbox, it gives us an opportunity to study the product, roll it out in the market in a controlled way, understand the risks, and then it can be rolled out on a commercial basis. So the sandbox is one of those immediate things that we are working on, just to let people come, even if we don't have regulations for them, come test your product. Let's see what it can do, roll it out in the market, and yeah.
I think then the last one is what developments should investors and market participants expect over the next few years in this market?
I think one of the developments is, as I said, the Virtual Assets Act, once it comes in place, is going to open up opportunities for them. But also, as a regulator, we are moving towards what we would call a light touch regulation to try and encourage people to come to market. So, for example, the Uganda Securities Exchange is now a self-regulatory organization, and we've delegated some of our responsibilities to USE as an SRO, self-regulatory organization, to kind of try and fasten the process around coming to markets. And so that kind of agility is what they're going to continue seeing us trying to create within the market, but also as an authority to try and fasten some of the processes within the authority.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.